All right, what's going on, everyone? My name is Brendan, and the Seoul Dynasty New York Excelsior game was quite possibly the most hyped up match of Stage 2 for good reason. Both teams are coming into this matchup very, very strong, and the first two maps of the series definitely delivered, with NYXL winning the first one 5-4, and Seoul Dynasty winning the second one 2-1, I believe. However, even though the series was neck and neck the whole way up until this point, Seoul Dynasty proceeded to absolutely destroy NYXL on Hollywood. So I'm going to make this really quick video today to show you exactly how Seoul Dynasty wins, pretty much entirely through insane shot calling on their attack on Hollywood. So the first thing I want to point out is let's take a look at these compositions, as per usual. NYXL only, on their attack round, NYXL only got about halfway through the streets phase. So they need to have a really good defense here. So they go for something that's very interesting here. They go for a very aggressive Moira dive plus a pharmacy. Now the idea here is that since your supports are so mobile, the Moira and the Mercy, they can just stay attached to other members of the team so they're not at risk of getting picked off if Seoul are running a dive. Additionally, if Seoul were running a dive, Jonak on the Moira could just fade in when the tanks dive and heal those tanks faster than the enemy dive tanks would be able to damage them. And so they'd be able to pick off a Zen, pick off a Lucio very easily. However, in this instance, Seoul is not running a dive. Instead, Tobi, I believe, because Tobi is the main shot caller of Seoul Dynasty, decides to go triple tank plus Junkrat. Now this is actually insanely smart because now if they get dove on by this Moira dive, what's going to happen is Moira's going to have to fade into the middle of all of these tanks, right? And then Reinhardt's just going to swing his hammer. Munchkin can just spam Roadhog left click, and Junkrat can just throw his concussion mines right in front of him. Suddenly your Moira gets almost no value because her job is to be very close to the fight, but in this composition by Seoul Dynasty, if she gets too close to the fight, she dies. So already NYXL is at a huge disadvantage. But this makes it even worse by Seoul. They identify their composition, and Tobi says, speed, we're going to go straight into cafe. Here's why this is such a big deal. Usually, I'm going to back this up very slightly. Usually, teams will not go straight through cafe. They won't go straight across the point into cafe. They will go here. They go out through the door. They'll hide behind the Reinhardt shield. They'll come around the corner into servers, go all the way around through the back of cafe, and then take the high ground. That's usually the routing you take with this composition of tanks. But what Seoul do is they recognize that there's no way for NYXL to put pressure on them, so they speed straight to cafe. This allows them to get into a good position before NYXL can set up. For example, look, Janus is stuck on the point now. If Janus tries to jump, he's going to get hooked. So Janus has to make sure he stays very safe on the point. That's just this very, very quick rotation by Seoul made it so that NYXL was caught out of position. And right here, Munchkin actually takes full advantage of NYXL being out of position and hooks Meko. Janus actually does a fucking 900 IQ Winston jump right here. Let's just look at this shit in slow motion. I'm trying to go frame by frame here. So Munchkin lands the hook, right? And then Janus jumps in front because he knows Munchkin doesn't have a hook anymore. And then he drops a Winston bubble. The Winston bubble cuts the hook, allowing Meko to drop safely. However, Seoul Dynasty, very smart. They realize that Janus has no bubble and he has no jump pack because he had to use his jump pack to get in the way. And so Janus now has no way of saving himself, of running away from this engage. So I believe it's probably Tobi again, or maybe it's Munchkin taking the initiative in this case to kill Janus immediately. Additionally, it's clear that the Seoul Dynasty are playing this really good strategy where Munchkin saves his hooks for the tanks first. Now, why is this such a big deal? Well, basically, when you're playing a dive comp, in case you're NYXL here, when you're playing dive, you want to dive the supports, right? But what happens is that if you get hooked by the hog hook, you get dragged to the other tanks. You get dragged away from the supports that you're trying to kill into the middle of all the tanks, which is like the most dangerous position for you to be in. So Even if you don't one-shot the tanks as Roadhog, it's still beneficial in this composition to hook the tanks because you get them so far out of that desirable position. Now, NYXL have an opportunity to switch up the comp. They decided to go with a Widowmaker, and they put Jonak back on Zenyatta. Now, the idea that they have to employ here, there's only one real option, is that they dive very aggressively. They have to dive, create chaos, force Miro to turn the shield, which would allow Libero to get shots here, or turn the shield this way would allow Jonak to get shots from here, I believe, or maybe Jonak is back with Libero. I'm not really sure. But the idea is that they have to turn the shield, so they have to dive in a very distracting manner, right? And they have to survive long enough for the jump pack to reset, and they can jump back onto the high ground. Because if these guys jump down, cause chaos, and jump back up, there's no real way for Seoul Dynasty to punish that. Because the only people that can apply high ground pressure are Zunba and Fleta, right? But Zunba has to be on the low ground to stop any sort of Widowmaker spam and Zen spam, and Fleta can't go on the high ground alone, because if he does, he'll get sniped by Libero. So they don't really have any high ground pressure. So in theory, this composition should work very well from New York Excelsior, but I want you guys to pay very close attention here, because something super interesting is going to happen. Very, very, very interesting. I want you guys to pay attention so you don't miss it. As Seoul Dynasty come around the corner, New York Excelsior's tanks turn into human vaginas. Look at this. Look at Meko on the high ground here. What is he doing? What is Janus doing? Your dive tanks, right? If you apply frontal pressure, you're just going to get fucking destroyed by the enemy tanks, because the enemy tanks are designed to apply frontal pressure. They put the DM frontally, they swing frontally, they hook front. Like everything is designed by Seoul to shoot towards the front. So why the fuck do they just drop on the front? I'll tell you why. It's because Janus is afraid that if he jumps in, he's going to die too quickly, so he won't be able to jump out. And Meko is afraid that since Janus is just dropping down, he can't drop with him, because he'll just get mowed down or he'll get hooked because they're applying from the front. Actually, to be honest with you, thinking about it now, I have no idea why Meko doesn't drop down. I have no idea. Because if he doesn't drop down, Meko's just going to get fucking destroyed, because they have Junkrat spam and they have Roadhog spam all from the front. And this shitty Winston bubble is not going to be nearly enough to stop that, right? So no matter what, I'm changing my mind now. I'm changing my mind. Meko makes a huge misplay here. He needs to drop down. He needs to drop down to defense matrix his Winston, or else his Winston will die. And Seoul Dynasty recognized this strategy of causing chaos to allow space for the Widowmaker to have free shots, and Tobi immediately calls hide right, hide right, hide right. So all of the team of Seoul, all of the team go and hide behind this hay bale, and they hide behind this little roofing here, because Libero can't shoot behind this. He doesn't have a clear line of sight. Genius positioning from Seoul Dynasty, and they stay there until Janus jumps away. And you're going to see Janus get absolutely melted here once his Winston bubble goes down. Like, look at this. Once his Winston bubble goes down, it's just like he's almost dead, right? So what needs to happen now, right? Well, New York Excelsior, now that Janus is solo, they have to wait for him to get healed all the way back up by Arc. Okay, and then they have to do a hard engage, because I didn't mention it earlier, but the point location that Seoul needs to get to is right here. It's right on the other side of these two buildings here. So they only have one more fight, and NYXL has to get super aggressive on this last engage, okay? So they have to play, they should be playing passively, wait for that heal to come back up, and then play very aggressively. Look at what Meko does here. I am so confused, dude. Look at this shit. What? What is he doing? He's Diva, dude. Diva has literally the biggest spread in the entire fucking game. And he's trying to, like, shoot from the high ground? Dude, I have no idea. Like, maybe he's thinking, like, oh, I need to stay on this high ground. I can't jump over here. I can't dive because I have no support, and I need to block Fleta's shots. But even in that case, it's like, then why are you peeking, dude? Obviously, if you're peeking like that, you're gonna get caught out of position. Janus feels the need to drop down now, because Janus is like, oh, Meko is caught out of position. That means that if I don't save his ass, we lose the fight. Obviously, it doesn't matter anyway. Munchkin gets his cheeky whole hog off, and NYXL lose the fight. And it all comes down to two things. Great shot calling from Tobi. That initial composition he probably decided on. That rotation to lower cafe. That rotation to behind the hay bales so their Widowmaker got no value. Those three genius plays made it so NYXL gets almost no value out of their compositions. The next huge mistake, the next thing that really decided this match was the huge mistake by Meko. What the fuck is he doing on that high ground? I will never know. Anyway, guys, I'm making more videos this week. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys next time.